Hello, beautiful people. So I am live today again to talk about something uncomfortable that happened yesterday when I was doing my live. So whenever I feel like a hint, a calling to come live, I just allow myself to flow and let the words come out of my mouth. Sometimes there is like something that's on my heart that I want to talk about. Some other times it's just this calling, and then I open my mouth and the words just come out. And yesterday I was talking about how sometimes we use spirituality and spiritual teachings as an unconscious way to bypass the action we know we need to take in our lives. And so I was in my flow and I was sharing, and at some point someone got into the chat and I started receiving like a spam of messages, and I saw that this person was also a spiritual coach. So I took my time to read their messages. So you guys, I thought a lot about if I would talk about this or not, and I had to take my time to process everything and to feel into all of it and see all the perspectives and all of that. But ultimately, my energy is about authenticity and being raw and real. And so if something happens on my watch when I am making a live and someone comes in with a certain energy, then I feel, in this case at least, called to talk about it instead of like spiritually bypassing it or, letting it go or whatever. I felt that the only way I could genuinely let it go was to come here and talk about it. And again, being raw and real. So I was having this conversation about spiritual bypassing and all of that. And how funny is it that a spiritual coach comes in asking me a bunch of questions as like in a spamming way. And I was like talking and then reading and talking and reading, and like it got me completely out of my flow. And for those of you who watch the live, you can see the moment where you can't see her comments because they were live, so the comments are not there yet. But you can see the moment where I'm like losing my flow and like looking down to read what she's saying and all of this. And I want to talk about this because this is the exact reason why sometimes I feel like the icks about spirituality and the reason why I feel like I don't want to be associated with people like that anymore, because we also use spirituality, that we are spiritual people, to put on this mask that bypasses some really ugly things that people do, and I don't want to have anything to do with any of that. So I was also wondering how I could share this in a way where I'm not almost doing to her what she did to me. I don't want to do that at all, but I do want to talk about it, and I don't want to spiritually bypass it and pretend everything is okay and stay quiet, because that's not what I feel in my heart is what I want to do. So I was talking about sometimes we using spiritual concepts of honoring our feminine energy, or following the path of least resistance, or waiting for divine timing as an excuse to not take action in the physical, when we know we need to take action in the physical. So I was talking and I was in my flow, and this person kept spamming and saying, oh yes, spiritual bypassing, I have this with my clients as well. And I kept sharing, and I was wondering if there was any question or any way I could help them if they needed any support. And all of a sudden they start like really spamming and saying like, yes, but what are the actual things that people can do? What are the actual tools? Stop gatekeeping and just start saying less gatekeeping and say the tools. And I was in my own Instagram page, in my own live, in my own flow, talking about what I felt called to talk about. And someone, of course, it's okay to come into someone's space and ask questions, but it's maybe not so okay to like spam them in the middle of a conversation that they are having and saying, stop gatekeeping, tell us the actual tools, what to do. So this is the example. You can tell people to meditate, you can tell people to do mirror work, you can tell people to do breath work. And I was like that energy that this person came in with really knocked me out of my flow. And just to be fully transparent, I completely lost my flow, and then I kind of forgot what I was saying, and it was a mess. And then after the live, I felt so bad, like energetically, that I literally had to like take a moment to literally stay in bed and process what just happened. And the reason why I'm sharing this, first, of course, like I didn't need to feel so deeply what happened, but I did, and that's okay. The reason why I'm sharing this is because sometimes we don't notice the negative energy that we are putting out to someone else. And it's important that we are aware of that, especially if we call ourselves spiritual people. And to have a quote-unquote spiritual coach come into my life, interrupt me as I was sharing and saying that I was gatekeeping information, that's like out of this world, because I am in the flow and I had something that I wanted to share. And of course there wasn't any gatekeeping. There was just someone talking and expressing themselves, in this case me. So to bring that energy into someone else, it's not so cool, you guys. And this is the reason why I feel sometimes spiritual coaches and spiritual people really disappoint me. How can we do this to each other? I don't get it, you know? I don't understand what the point is. And if this person was listening to what I was saying before, to be fully honest, I don't feel that sometimes even the things that she said that she gives her clients, like mirror work or breath work or meditation, even those things, you know, they can be really helpful. And sometimes I do them. But even those things that she recommended, that she said she recommended to her clients, even those things sometimes are a little bit of a distraction for what actually like shifts and moves the needle, you know what I'm saying? So it's funny that that's actually what I was talking about, the spiritual bypassing. And sometimes we choose to do another meditation because we are afraid of taking action. And what we actually, and like we use like doing another meditation, I'm not saying that this is what is always happening, but sometimes that we use doing another meditation or a breathwork practice or whatever as like a little excuse or distraction to not do the actual work, to take the actual action that moves the needle. It's funny that she came in saying exactly that and then accusing me of gatekeeping, where I was making a point and I was in my own flow and I get to share whatever I want to share when I'm live on my page. So I got honestly like really hurt with this, and it was like just another disappointing thing I have experienced from a so-called spiritual teacher, spiritual coach, or spiritual healer or whatever. And I took my time to process it and to feel everything that was to be felt with it. And I'm still feeling it. But I had to come here and share because like it would be to try to bypass it. So that's why I'm here. So after I did my live, I went to see who this person was, to just feel like where they were coming from. and that maybe I have had received their energy in a way that wasn't so nice for me personally. But maybe this person like didn't intend to write those to me. So I went to check who this was. And then I saw that they also made an Instagram live talking about spiritual bypassing. And I'm like, you guys, like, how can we have such little, what's the word? Like, I was so, like this, I was like, I don't know the word in English. It's like, I was, what's the word? Like, without words. I was like, how can someone come into someone else's life and do this and then make an Instagram live kind of copying what I was just saying? I'm like, dude, like that's the perfect example of spiritual bypassing. Is you spamming and sending like bad vibe comments on someone else's life, and then you make a live talking about the same thing? What is going on here? Like, honestly, this makes me so freaking sad that people do this, and I just don't understand. I don't understand how people can call themselves spiritual leaders or coaches or healers and then do ugly things like this. And so in her live, I saw that she was basically trying to copy what I was sharing during my live, and talking about spiritual bypassing, and that she was also seeing spiritual people in the spiritual community bypassing. I was like, dude, you came into my life with that bad energy, and then you make a live talk like literally imitating what I was just talking about. And then she's like, oh, but I'm not going to gatekeep like some people do. What she was saying that I was doing. And then she was like, I'm not going to gatekeep, so I'm going to give you tools and you can download my free 15 pages ebook. I am like, dude, what? Like, what? This is unbelievable. This is so unbelievable. Like, my heart and my mind is like, it's almost hard to process how someone can have like such little notion of what they are doing, that they come with a bad energy talking in someone else's space, then they copy what that person is sharing for their own benefit. And this is the ugly thing, you guys, about spiritual coaches. Like let's not try to steal clients from each other or look at people like just clients or whatever. This is so ugly, and this is so far away from what it means to help people. Like, what is going on here? And so this person was like, I'm not going to gatekeep information like I see other spiritual teachers doing. So I'm going to give you my free 15 pages ebook about breathwork or something. And I'm like, so, and for those of you who don't know, offering something like an ebook or something like that, it's called a lead magnet. It's where you create something that is free for people to sign up, so you get their email. So you have you're growing your email list while you're offering something for free for people to benefit from. And it's funny because that's, how can someone be talking about spiritual bypassing while they are copying that conversation from someone else who was talking about it, and then say that they are not gatekeeping information? So they're offering a free 15 pages ebook that's going to change people's lives. It's so embarrassing even. It's so cringy. And that's so sad, because that was also what I was talking about. I've been talking about this a lot lately, which is like, more information is not necessarily what we need to have a transformation. Because how many of us are reading all the books and watching all the videos and listening to all the podcasts, but it doesn't actually move the needle for us. It doesn't actually create a change, a transformation. This is exactly what I was talking about, that sometimes we read more books, we listen to more podcasts, we watch more videos, we consume more information, almost as a way to delay and postpone and distract ourselves from the action that we actually need to take. So I keep saying, like, don't listen to what I'm talking and then don't do anything with it, because if you're here and you're just listening to what I'm saying but nothing changes in your life, it's worthless for you to listen to what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, it's not actually giving you a transformation or an upgrade. Then what's the point of wasting time just consuming more information? And so how funny and embarrassing and sad is it that this person copies what I'm talking about, which is spiritual bypassing, and then tells people that she's not going to gatekeep like she sees other coaches doing, and so here's her free 15 pages ebook. When we all know it's not a 15-page ebook that it's going to change your life, no matter how good that ebook is. You guys, this is so sad, like so freaking sad. So sad. I was so disappointed. I don't know who this person was, but I was so disheartened and disappointed seeing this happening. And I didn't want to come here and share this. Like, I didn't want to bring any like bad energy, but it's like someone needs to talk about these things. Because if we just pretend that this is not happening, then we are also spiritually bypassing it. And like a few months ago, I had a really big so-called spiritual teacher copy one of my reels, like the most viral reel I ever made with Neo in the Matrix. And I wrote, when you thought the biggest matrix was the government, but actually it's spirituality. And it was like, that was one of my most funny and actually real memes that I created. And this guy copied my reel and like put his name on top of mine so it looks like he did it. And I was like, I'm not going to be quiet about this, because someone has to talk about this, because it's not okay. And it's like, I'm not going to pretend to be love and light and to just transcend it or let it go when it happens on my watch, when it happens in front of me. No, like someone needs to talk about it. So may I be the one doing what most people don't really feel like doing, and let me talk about it. Just to bring some awareness, you guys. This is also the paradox. I know we are all doing our best, but sometimes we could be doing so much better. A spiritual coach going into another... I don't resonate with calling myself a spiritual coach. I'm just someone who is sharing my journey, and if I can support others, then I'm really happy to. I don't like calling myself spiritual or a coach because of all this other nonsense that is happening around. But how can you be a spiritual coach going into someone else's life where they are talking about spiritually bypassing, and then you spam them with some bad energy comments, and you accuse them of gatekeeping information when they are just talking and sharing what is in their heart, and they get to talk about whatever it is that they get to talk about. And then you make a live copying what that person was saying and saying that you're not going to gatekeep, so here is your 15 pages free ebook. I cannot be the only one who gets the irony and the insanity of the coincidence of the topic being spiritually bypassing and then someone pulling one of these. I cannot be the only one who finds this insane. So you guys, I keep saying that I just want to be raw and real. I don't want to be called or perceived as spiritual or as a coach. It's hard to describe what I do if you don't use the word coaching, because it's some sort of coaching and support. So sometimes I might use that word just so people understand what it is about. But just because I do coaching doesn't mean that I'm necessarily wanting to call myself or view myself as a coach. I also don't understand or enjoy or resonate with the pedestaling, that we do. I resonate with more of all of us have our feet on the same earth. We all look at the same sky. We are all humans. We all feel the same spectrum of human emotions and feelings, and we're all just here doing our best, and we get to support each other. But I don't really resonate with the whole pedestaling thing. So this is why I felt like coming here and sharing about this. And honestly, this is one of those moments and one of those things that just makes me want to pray for all of us. Just makes me really want to pray. That's all I want to share for today, my loves. Thank you for those of you who listened. And that's it for today. Bless you.